Hi everyone, welcome to class. My name is Emily and this is yoga for upper back, neck, and shoulder care. This is our mat practice, so it would be good for the days that you can get down into the floor. So we'll begin. Go ahead and come into a tabletop position. So we'll start with the knees under the hips and hands under the shoulders. And with your breath out, just slow breath out, move into a cat. The belly nice and strong, the spine round, the scapula wide. And just breathe there for an inhale and an exhale. So a full round of breath. And then inhale, we'll lift the chin and the sitting bones toward the sky. And again, exhale, round into your cat tilt, chin and tailbone, tuck toward each other. Inhale, chin and sit bones rise. And let's begin to move with the limbs. So we'll bring the right knee in. And as we extend the leg behind, we're going to reach the left arm out. And then exhale, the elbow and knee move toward each other. And then inhale, extend them out. See if we can start to soften up that back body a bit, especially up around the upper back and the shoulder area. So these rhythmic type movements with the breathing are really, really useful in that way. Let's do one more. Exhale in and inhale, extend. We'll bring the limbs down and move back into cat. Inhale into cow. And then exhale, the knee comes in, opposite knee, so the left knee, and then inhale, extend. And as you reach the leg back, extend the right arm. Exhale, we'll draw in. And then inhale, again, extend nice and long. Try not to overstrain your neck. Exhale, in. Inhale, extension, a little longer through the upper back. And then one more time, exhale, we'll hug in. And then inhale, full extension, releasing the limbs. And let's work back into our downward facing dog. So we'll tuck the toes, shift your weight back onto the balls of your feet, and then keeping the knees bent as long as we can, allowing the sitting bones to rise, and then getting that super long, nice extension in the upper back, pressing your chest toward the floor, but also back towards your legs. So you're kind of isometrically dragging yourself back, taking some of that weight out of the hands. And then let's go down into a puppy posture. So we're going to bring the knees to the floor, step the right hand forward, the left hand forward, and then as we begin to draw the pelvis back, we'll drop the chest toward the mat. Now you can use a block here. If the floor feels like it's really far away, you can even stack it onto a high setting. Just kind of bring the forehead down so that you don't have too much pressure in your upper back and your shoulders. Just do what feels best in your body. We'll do that again a little bit later, so you don't have to do too much too quickly. And then exhale, let's come back, hands and knees, and we'll go back into dog pose. So tuck your toes, lift your knees, slide your ribs back, and then pressing the hips toward the wall behind you. And on this one, let's do some bends and straightens for the knees. So we'll bend one knee at a time and move with your breath, just pedaling out your dog or walking the dog. And let's also walk the shoulders so we can press as we extend the right leg. We're going to kind of drop the right shoulder toward the floor. As you extend the left leg, the left shoulder melts to the floor. And then both heels once more melt to the floor. And then once more, let's come down onto our knees. This time we're going to release all the way onto the belly. So as we get to our belly, let's bring our hands under the shoulders. Shrug the shoulders a few times. So rolling the shoulders on the belly. So forward and then up to the ears. And then with that last roll, use that momentum to lift up into a cobra. So as we rise into cobra, you can assess the situation. If it feels like it's a bit too much in the upper back or the low back, then come onto your elbows. So either one is fine. Try to make some space under your armpits here. Press down into your palms. Bring your head and neck into a neutral position. Try to widen out through the back of your heart area. So feel, instead of crunching the scapula together, see if you can widen them and bring them off of the back. And then we'll release. Come all the way down to your belly. Let's take the left arm long into Ekabujja 1. So we'll release onto the side, hugging the knees into the chest. Bend your left elbow a bit so that you can lift your chest up. Inchworm the left ribs just a little bit further away from your hip. And then stay here so that the shoulder is lifted off of the floor. You're using the stability of your right arm. And you can either rotate further around. If you have a little extra mobility, you can actually bring your shoulder all the way on the floor and move the knees to the sky. If that feels like it's too much, then you can even just roll, for some, just laying with the arm extended and barely rolling onto the side will be enough. So again, do with what is within your body's ability. And then release, and let's do the other side. So Ekabujja to the other side. It's important to keep the hand level with the shoulder, and then we'll roll. And if you have the ability in your shoulder to lift up, then you'll do that. Widen the right side, and then that right hand's gonna have to sneak up so that it's level with your right shoulder after you do the little inchworm movement. And then again, if you feel that you have the space, then you can roll all the way onto your back so the knees go to the sky. That's a big rotation in your shoulder though, and in the chest, so don't feel like you have to do that. And then we're breathing and release. Come all the way onto your belly. And from here, let's check out another cobra pose so we can notice how that shoulder opening helps with our back extension. So roll the shoulders, maybe 1 or 2 times just to prepare, and then let the spine kind of catch a ride on the extension of the movement of the shoulders to extend the spine. We'll come up nice and tall, big opening through the front of the heart, back body. And then we'll release. Let's come all the way down. As we do, we're going to take the arms wide once more. Both arms go out. Inhale, exhale, lifting up into a modified locust. And here we can either keep our hands grounded. Maybe you're going to reach them up also. And then a couple of options here. We can either, again, keep them here to the sides, or maybe you clasp your hands behind your back, around the hip area, and then lift up even higher. Lifting, reaching the chest. Nice and deep breath here. And then release. Let's come all the way down. We're pressing up through our hands and knees. Let's travel back to child's pose. So this is one of the very best for releasing the entire spine, especially up through the upper back. And we'll do a crescent here. So we'll walk the hands off of the right side and fingertips walking away from the hip. So reach. And let's come back into center. We'll go over to the other side. Just crescenting your hands off of the mat. And then fingertips on the right hand. Walk away as you send your right hip down and back. And then we'll come back into our hands and knees. Moving back up. Let's explore one more puppy pose. Let's see if anything has changed in the way we feel in our upper back now. So extend out through the right arm and the left arm. And as we slide the hips back and wide, we'll begin to melt the chest toward the floor. You can bring your nose or your face straight down onto your mat, maybe your forehead. Or if you have the extension in the upper back, then you can also bring the chin down. And then lots of breath here. Creating movement, massaging from that diaphragmatic movement which ripples through your entire body. And then let's come back up. Walk your hands under your shoulders. And we're going to thread the needle on each side. So we'll rotate the spine, stacking the shoulder, and then lift the arm. And then on the exhale, we'll bring the right arm threaded underneath of the left shoulder. And your left hand can either stay on the mat, maybe it lifts up to the sky. Try to keep your hips sliding back behind you. Release. Let's do the other side. So first we're going to come into a squared position in the middle, and then rotate at the spine so the shoulders stack, and then lift the arm. So do it in that order, otherwise the arm will just lift and the shoulder stays facing downward. So we got to get the shoulder open from rotating the spine first, and then exhale, we'll thread the needle, bringing the left arm underneath of your right shoulder. And you can again keep your right hand down for stability, or maybe you take the right arm to the sky, or maybe onto the back of the hip. You can also bind it around into the left hip crease. Keep breathing. And then release. Let's bring the hand down. We'll slowly come up and out, back into your hands and knees. Roll back over your feet. So you're in a seat. And let's roll all the way onto the back. So coming flat to the floor. And we'll bring the knees into the chest and rock a couple of times. Just soften things up there. Now we're going to take our right leg, let's move it long, keep the left knee bent, move your hips over toward the left side of your mat, and a nice big supine twist. And as we rotate through the lower body, we're going to reach out through the left arm, maybe even bringing your right hand up onto your upper thigh bone, and press that away with your right hand into your left leg, and find lots of nice opening all through the left side. So that gives an opening through the hip, under the armpit, out through your arm. And then release. As we release this, let's do the other side. So move your hips over to the right, switch your legs, take a big inhale, and on your exhale, then you'll roll into the twist. And then once we get there, we can begin to modify a bit by bringing the left hand, like the palm of the hand, the real meaty part, and push it into that upper thigh bone, almost where your hip meets, or your femur meets into the pelvis. So it's really high up. And you're going to press, and then notice how that will give you some extra room in the right side, a little extra rotation, some extra space to enjoy. Breathe. And then let's come back up. And bringing the feet flat. Let's take our knees wide into reclined bound angle. And then we'll bring our legs together and extend the arms and the legs, resting into your Shavasana, final assimilation pose. Just giving your body a moment to rest and absorb the practice which we've completed. With each new breath, find something new to relax. Maybe the first time it's your feet. Your next breath can be your hands. Next breath, the jaw. And so on and so forth. Remaining in Shavasana for as much time as you have, maybe as long as 20 minutes. When you're ready to finish your practice, start by extending out through the arms and the legs, circling the wrists and the ankles. Reach out through your arms, extend the legs like you do in a slow morning stretch. And then we'll roll onto the side, bringing the knees to the chest as you roll over. Come back into your seat. Find a comfortable seated position. Nice and tall on those sitting bones. Joining your hands at your heart. Bow to yourself. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. Namaste.